Hey friends! My name is Antoinette Chanel and welcome back to my channel. It's time for another Meghan and Harry update. So the last time I gave you an update on these two, they were receiving a lot of backlash for traipsing around the remains and burn sites in Los Angeles in the wake of those fires. I say in the wake of, but the fires were still happening. They just were touring a site where a neighborhood had been leveled by fire. And it came across as very insensitive. People were wondering, why are y'all here? They were questioning what qualifies you guys to even be here right now. You're not fire experts. You don't work for the fire department. You're not even city officials. And this prompted the headline that suggested that Meghan was going into hiding. I saw a few publications running with this headline that Meghan is going into hiding and she was just so devastated by the backlash to her action. But what's interesting is that not long after we got the headlines about Meghan going into hiding and how she was just so hurt and was gonna regroup, suddenly we also got social media footage that appeared to show Meghan attending Kerry Washington's birthday party that was hosted by Jessica Alba. The stories referring to this all said that Meghan was a surprise guest, which I have always understood to mean that this person wasn't invited. And other than the quick glimpse that we got of her in some cell phone footage that someone shot at the party, I don't think we got any official photos. I don't think anybody was photographed with her. And if they were, I didn't see them posted anywhere. It might have been part of someone's stories, but overall, Meghan told us she was going into hiding. Then she pops up not long after that at a celebrity birthday party, but it doesn't really seem like anybody there wanted to be pictured with her, and she was labeled as a surprise guest. So this to me just comes across as another desperate attempt to try to win some favor from the Hollywood crowd, and also maybe to grab another headline and keep yourself sort of relevant, I suppose. And I would put this in the same category as her going to the Children's Hospital event when she recycled the Carolina Herrera dress, the exploding tomato. And she was pictured on the red carpet and she was just, in my opinion, acting really bizarre. It was very obvious that she was there to garner some sort of favor, to make herself look relevant and connected, to make herself seem charitable. That was also where she gave that quote about how she has friends who still have children at the hospital and she's so grateful for the work that they've done. It was just so bizarre. It's currently early February and I'm seeing reports of staffers at the palace labeling Meghan as the fighter. And based on what I've read, they call her the fighter because of what her experiences was like when she was at the palace. Basically, Meghan went against the grain on most things. She felt like she had to fight for everything. And as I've mentioned in other videos where I've covered Harry and Meghan, it seems like she was hell-bent on changing the institution in some way. I don't know if she wanted to be the queen. I don't know if she thought that she could just take over the Commonwealth. I mean, yeah, she probably did. She probably thought all those things. And in preparing for this video and doing some research on the latest dealings and happenings of Harry and Meghan, I found out that there's a book. Tell me, is it published already or is it going to come out still? Because I saw publication date of 2/24/25, but this book is called Yes Ma'am by Tom Quinn, and it's supposed to be about the secret life of royal servants. I think we're going to get a lot more information about Harry and Meghan's time as working royals together from this book, and so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on a copy. But not before I've given you part 2 of my review of Courtiers by Valentine Lowe, which I'm still planning to upload to this channel very soon, so stay tuned for that. It seems like I've also stumbled on yet another sort of rabbit hole as I saw headlines recently, and one that came from Hindustan Times, which is why it kind of made me perk up because it was a publication from another country. But there are reports now that apparently Prince William was very uncomfortable with Meghan's hugging. I saw some reports that said that Meghan constantly hugged and kissed William and that this made him very uncomfortable. And it seems pretty outlandish, like just on the surface, the idea that this woman who is in this high-profile marriage to Prince Harry would somehow be making passes at Prince William while they were all, I don't want to say under the same roof, but you know, sharing close quarters like that. But then it made me think back to some of the comments that Harry and Meghan were making right after Megxit and in the Netflix series that premiered in 2022. I didn't watch the series, but I've seen enough highlights and clips to know about parts of it. Harry and Meghan make a very concerted effort to mention again in the series that Meghan's a hugger. It's her free nature. She likes to hug, and it's just so jarring for the Brits. I've never really understood it. I always thought it was really weird that they put this emphasis on her being a hugger. Like, who cares? Okay, so you're a hugger, so what? But now I'm starting to revisit those headlines and those comments in the wake of these new headlines about Prince William supposedly being uncomfortable with Meghan's invasion of his space. And it sort of seems like now maybe they were trying to get ahead of this like less than flattering portrayal of Meghan right after Megxit. Harry even told us in Spare that Meg was a hugger, and I think he has a section where he goes on about that time when she met William and Catherine and she was barefoot in jeans and wanting to hug them or whatnot. I think there was a section about that in Spare. And you know, there are other commentary channels who have done compilation photos that show Meghan seemingly pining over William as she stares at him even while Harry is present. I don't really know what to make of those. I mean, there's a lot of them. There's too many to ignore at this point. I'm not sure what to make of them, and I'm not sure exactly what transpired in terms of how many hugs, how far these kisses were going, or anything like that. But I think that definitely where there's smoke, there's fire, and Meghan's entire demeanor while she was with the royal family and living in the UK was just entirely inappropriate. And I don't blame her entirely for not knowing, not understanding, having to sort of learn some things when she got there, but it doesn't even really seem like she was interested in doing that, seeing how she wasn't taking the advice of very seasoned and knowledgeable people such as Samantha Cohen. We're also seeing reports now that supposedly Meghan had an inappropriate friendship with a junior staffer. Apparently Meghan used to like to befriend the junior staffers to try to see if she could get them on her side and maybe convince the senior staffers to do what she wanted. And this might not seem like a big deal because, you know, most of us think about like new coworkers who come into the job and they want to befriend some of the people who haven't been there as long, or maybe who are more frontline staff than management, because they want to try to get people on their side. But this is different in that the British family, the royal family, excuse me, that whole institution and how it runs, the way that the staffers are handled, the rank and file of it all, that is very important and old standing. And so if you try to topple that, it just comes across as you don't have any respect for the institution, for tradition, for any of it. And as somebody who is a foreigner coming into that environment, I could see how that turns people off entirely. And I would say that that's part of the reason why I criticize Meghan so openly, because I feel that she represents for American women so terribly. I mean, she gives this impression that we are unable to follow protocol, unable to respect cultures that are different from ours, unable to respect institutions that are older than us. It's just disrespectful and rude, and in my opinion, showcases just how ignorant Meghan was as she embarked on whatever it was she was set out for when she was dating and pursuing Harry. Okay, friends, that's all I've got for this video, but please, as I mentioned before, make sure that you stay tuned to this channel because I will be uploading my part 2 review for Valentine Lowe's Courtiers very, very soon. That book has been so eye-opening and taught me so much about the royal family. And if you're interested in sort of the background and history of these stories as we partake in this snark, I highly recommend checking it out because it is available on audiobook. You know what? I'm going to make a plug here for Libby too. If you don't know about it already, make sure that you download the Libby app, get yourself a library card from your local library, and start listening to audiobooks for free. You don't need to pay for Audible. If you'd like to keep up with me, you can follow me on Instagram at the handle that's listed on your screen right there. Please, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. That helps me in the algorithm. You can also leave a comment below. That also helps me in the algorithm. And feel free to share the video with other people who you know might enjoy this. I appreciate all of that. Thank you so much for bearing with me, my friends, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Take care.